It's been a while, maybe too long of a while, since we have gone out there and actually talked about the Ottawa Senators. Sorry to all of y'all Ottawa fans, because I know you have a pretty good team. I know there are stories to go over, but ever since that DeBrincat trade, yeah, there have been other things that I tried focusing on too. But in today's video, what I wanted to do was cool it down a little bit, kind of rein in the expectations and make it so that all of us are being set up for the least disappointing season possible in terms of the growth of some of the players on this team. Today's conversation is going over a guy who was one of the top Ottawa Senators 2 seasons ago, but who, after spending an extended amount of time on the IR, is only going to be coming back this year. Let's talk about Josh Norris today, Ottawa Senators center, and a guy who was acquired by the team in the Erik Carlsson trade. No, not the most recent one, but the one before that. Norris is a player who, in 2021-2022, was one of the best players. He was the first-line center on the team, 55 points and 35 goals in 66 games played. There's a reason Josh Norris got signed to a contract that sees him making $7.9 million a season till the end of 2030. And at 24 years old, this is a guy who could definitely play out the prime years of his career whilst on this deal. Norris, for all intents and purposes, last season was a goal-scoring machine. He had a boatload of potential. If you do the math, over 82 games, 55 in 66 games, that is a point production pace of 68 total points. And if you just do the goals, he was on pace for 43 goals in 21-22. That's a feat that hasn't been accomplished in Ottawa often. So, of course, for Norris, you could definitely see why there's a lot of hype for this guy. But in 22-23, Josh Norris only played 8 games, and he had 3 points in those 8 games. It's not his fault, he got hurt. But heading into 2023-2024, which is going to be the second year of his 8-year extension, that in which he is making $7.9 million per season, we're going to have to start tampering with our expectations a little bit, because when it comes to players that are good goal scorers playing on top-line roles like Norris was playing for the Sens in 21-22, things can change pretty quickly, especially if you miss a year of hockey. So, to help us out with our conversation, we're going over onto the hockey news and reading this piece by Steve Warren from August 11th. Josh Norris talks about his recovery. He says, "I started to turn a corner about a month ago." After missing 90 games over the past 2 years, the Ottawa Senators center says that his shoulder feels really good. In this article, which will be linked in the description if you want to read this yourself, it goes over the Norris situation. At this time last year, Norris was fresh off a 35-goal season and was clearly the Ottawa Senators' undisputed number 1 center. Despite playing in only 66 games, he still led the team in goals and was 3rd in points. A lot changed since then. Tim Stutzle has now emerged as a star in the league, the 19th best scorer in the NHL, and Ottawa's new number 1 center. Norris, on the other hand, has been shut down due to injury. He tried to go through rehab after getting injured in October, but ended up hurting his shoulder again, and then he got surgery, and, he had 6 months recovery time there after the procedure was done in the 22-23 season. It's been a while since then, and you had Norris recently make an appearance on the Comin' and Hot podcast and update fans about his situation. "Yeah, I feel good," Norris said. "The first 4 to 5 months was the main grunt work." Grunt work, that's an interesting way to put it. "I kind of started to turn a corner probably around a month or so ago. And I'm feeling really good. I've been on the ice a ton and I'm training normally, which is kind of nice." He also says he's going into rehab, but he should be able to play in some of the club's preseason games. "I mean, yeah, I would assume so," Norris said. "My goal is to be ready for opening night. Obviously, I'd like to get some preseason games in if that's the case. I don't think I'm going to get thrown in right to the Wolves on night 1. Obviously, if things are looking good, and I think they are right now, then I should be ready." But the reason I wanted to go out there and make this video, of course, it's a great story seeing Norris recover and rehab himself, go through the motions, just get everything up to speed again. This is a good thing. But what I wanted to do in this video was kind of cool it down in the expectations, because when it comes to hockey players taking extended time off, this could really be the make or break dagger in some situations. Some guys that are really good, like the Jonathan Taveses of the world for example, can take a year off and come back pretty healthy and still be okay. Some guys who are even better, like the Nikita Kucherovs, can take an entire year off, come back in the postseason, and play like he wasn't even injured the whole time. For Josh Norris, at 24 years old, he does not have that longevity in the NHL just yet. He has not had that solidified, bona fide profile just yet. He's a guy who had a really good season in 21-22, but who had been sidelined for a year afterwards. We don't know how good Norris is going to be upon returning, and after having such an extended amount of time off, it would be fair to say if he does not start out just super hot out of the gate, if he doesn't have nearly the same amount of points or goals as he had 2 seasons ago in this upcoming year, then that should be okay. You see, this article was posted onto the Senators sub, and some of the comments go out there and actually talk about this in a pretty good way. Take a look at this comment right here from Sunless Tatooine. We're all expecting him to come back as if he hasn't missed a beat. The truth is, he'll most likely start off slow. He won't be the Norris we all remember. We'll probably start seeing flashes of Norris we expect sometime after the Christmas break. We need to be patient with him. You also have the idea that says that he is no longer the number 1 guy, technically speaking. That honor belongs to Jimmy Stu, and with Stu taking more ice time away from Norris, this might be an interesting mix to see where exactly the deployment and the points distribute themselves amongst the lineup. Obviously, it goes without saying that if a good player gets more minutes, he'll probably get more points. But for a player who has been out for an entire season getting sheltered minutes, where exactly does the production come from there? Is it power play time that Norris gets the bulk of his production? Does he still get center chops against top matchups and gets points in that respect? It's going to be an intriguing sort of process to watch as Norris eventually just gets his body up to speed to the NHL game and tries to pot in a bunch of goals again. Obviously, practicing is great, and being able to practice is the first step, but playing in the NHL is much more than just being able to run through drills and do everything you can in a practice session. It's a big adjustment, and so for a guy like Norris, who we all know is very talented, I guess you just gotta go out there and hold back your expectations a little bit, because if you had Norris last year, let's say last year he is fully healthy and his point production is a lot better than 3 points in 8 games played. If Norris last year legitimately had a 40-goal year like he was on pace to having in 21-22, I don't think anybody would have been surprised. But heading into this season, hey, the guy is just coming off a full year's worth of time away, pretty much. So if he doesn't score anywhere near even 25 goals, that should be okay. Like, just give the guy time to get back up to speed. In fact, there was this poll made on the Senators sub. How many goals are you expecting from Josh Norris this upcoming season? And the bulk of Ottawa Senators users went out there and actually voted for 20 to 29 goals. So it seems like Sens fans have their priorities in check here. They're saying, yeah, we're not going to be too excited, not going to expect the moon and the stars from this guy. 67 out of the however many votes, 1,100 votes, actually said that they expect Norris to have more than 40 goals this upcoming year. Which, I mean, if it happens, then awesome. It would be a really great story to see him come back from surgery, from rehab, and actually not miss a beat. You know, that would be the best case scenario. But is it likely? I don't want to go out there and say it's likely for anybody to do that. Unless your name is Mark Stone, unless your name is Nikita Kucherov, unless you are already a recipient of some NHL awards and you are in that status of elite. Norris has not been there yet. Of course, I feel like he can get there. I mean, he's pretty good. Definitely not a slouch at the NHL level, but we just gotta wait and see. So when it comes to Josh Norris, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about him and his season to be in 23-24? How well do you think he's going to be able to do behind Jimmy Stu? Do you think he gets the second-line center minutes? Do you think they try him at first-line center, try to get that 1A, 1B rotation going around? Do you think they even try him in the third-line spot? Do you have Shane Pinto take over second-line duty for a bit, while you give Norris even more of a sheltered role? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the deployment, the ice time, as well as the points. How many points do you think Norris is able to score? How many goals do you think this guy's going to be able to score, assuming he plays 82 games? Does he continue scoring like a beast like he had 2 seasons ago, or does it take him a lot more time to get back up to speed? The comment section is your floor. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.